I'm going to go ahead and just do a roll call here. So make sure we've got everybody. I got Sergio Burgess from Town of Sarita, Glenn Robinson from Federal Highways, Cheryl Hewley from Oro Valley, Dion Swartz from Marana, Blake Olafson from Tucson DTM, and Molly Leba from South Tucson. And then on the staff side, I've got Bree, Isa, Crystal, Jeff, Jesse, Hinsu, and you and me, and Gabe. Is there anybody I missed? Or any jurisdiction I screwed up? I hope I'm been tracking this correctly. Anything, any corrections to that? Okay, hearing none. Welcome and good to see you guys. As a reminder on the in-kind reporting, our regional planning efforts are enhanced by recording time donated by the attendees, volunteers, and participants. PAG collects this data on the time dedicated to our meetings and activities to apply for use as matching funds for the grants, federal dollars that we occasionally use. If you're paid for with any federal dollars, please let us know. Time spent in preparation for this meeting is going to be estimated by the staff who are knowledgeable of the agenda, meeting materials, and the activities involved. At the conclusion, session will report, will automatically calculate our time spent on this meeting. And then time spent, as a reminder, on the PAG and RTA initiatives, programs, and special projects may also be eligible for consideration of matching funds. So thank you, Isa. All right, gang, kind of our normal agenda items that we have been tracking, watching as a group, but it's also that time of year. You guys remember in the past, David Mitchell has made a presentation on the state performance measure projections. The committee structures above us, most notably TPC, and then ultimately the board request the input from this group. So we are a recommending entity on that. There is an action item associated with this. But we've asked you and me, Jung, to step in and help us out and walk us through a presentation. So, Bree, if you're ready with her presentation, and you and me, the floor is all yours.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Yumi, the Transportation Data Science Coordinator, and I'm not sure whether I can control the PPT slide or should I ask it to pass?
Yes, Yumi, you should have a little control button on your screen on the bottom. It should give you control. It should have popped up.
Or could you, yeah, I'm not sure. So could you help me to the, just the next page?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so today I'm going to present the ADOT 2025 safety projections, and it is an annual exercise and action item. So ADOT established 2025 safety targets for Arizona states as part of a federal program, the FAST Act. And since 2018, ADOT established annual safety performance projections to comply with the FAST Act requirement, and PAC has an option of supporting the ADA safety projections or of establishing separate targets. And as a recommendation, the standard practice for MPOs is to adopt the state's safety performance targets, and PAC supports ADOT by adopting the safety projections and by tracking safety performance through our long-range transportation plan and transportation improvement program. Next, please. And here are the safety performance measures established by ADOT: the number of fatalities, fatality rate, number of serious injuries, serious injury rate, and number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries. And these targets were established based on a reduction of 20% by 2030 to support Arizona's governor's office and 2024 ADOT, a strategic highway safety plan of reducing the number of fatalities and serious injury crashes. The targets of safety performance measures are 5-year averages between 2021 and 2025, and ADAT collects safety data annually, and up-to-date one is 2023. So data from 2021 to 2023 are collected actual records, and data of 2024 and 2025 are projected values using historical data safety data. ADA safety data. Next, please. ADA safety targets are data-driven and realistic, and I'm going to show you historical records and projections associated with each ADA safety performance measure. As I mentioned, safety targets are 5-year rolling average using collected crash data and 2 years of projected data. And here is the number of the fatalities. The ADA safety target for fatalities is 1,263.8 for 2025. And the red bars from 2005 to 2023 present historical number of fatalities, while the yellow bars on the right for 2024 and 2025 are projected values. And we can see some fluctuations of a historical number of fatalities over time. And from 2014 to 2022, the trend of fatalities was increasing. However, in 2023, the number of fatalities slightly dropped according to the collected safety data. And the projection for 2024 and 2025 reflects this new trend of a decreasing number of fatalities. And green line represent the trend line of the 5-year rolling average of fatalities, which has been increasing from 2014 to 2025. And next, please. And the second measure is fatality rate. It is the rate of fatalities over per 100 million VMT. The projection of fatality rate for 2025 is 1.665. And the VMT for 2024 and 2025 is calculated based on the change in VMT over the 5 years from 2019 to 2023. The average growth of VMT for the 5 years was 1.47%, and it is applied to calculate the rate of the fatalities. The trend line of fatality rate in red bar was increasing from 2014 to 2022, but ADA projects it to decrease in 2024 and 2025. That is because the projected number of fatalities decreased for 2024 and 2025. The annual growth of VMT for 2024 and 2025 is 1.47%, as I mentioned, which is a positive number. Although VMT is positive for 2024 and 2025, because of the projected negative number of fatalities, the projected fatality rate of 2024 and 2025 are decreased. The green line presents the 5-year average of the fatality rate, and it was increasing from 2014 to 2023, and ADAT expects to see slightly increase the fatality rate in 2024, but it is projected to decrease in 2025. And next, please. The next measure is serious injuries, and serious injuries are ones that result in hospitalizations for a significant period or have life-altering consequences. The target of serious injuries for 2025 is 3,729.6, and these have been some fluctuations in the actual records of serious injuries over time, but the overall trend line shows a downward trajectory. The 5-year average follows a similar trend, indicating a constant decrease in serious injuries. Next, please. The target serious injury rate for 2025 is 4.914. The serious injury rate is the number of serious injuries per 100 million VMT. As I mentioned, the VMT for 2024 and 2025 is calculated based on the change in VMT over the 5 years from 2019 to 2023. And the trend line of the serious injury rate is like the serious injury, and it is constantly decreasing with some hiccups. Next, please. The last measure is non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries, and this measure is about crashes involving vulnerable users such as pedestrians, cyclists, emergency response staff, and construction workers. And the target for non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries is set at 856.6 for 2025. And since 2005, the trend line has been relatively steady with some up and downs according to the red bars. The highest number of crashes occurred in 2022, but it is decreasing. Next, please. So ADOT established 25 statewide safety projections to fulfill FAST Act requirement, and this is an annual exercise, and it is more practical to continue supporting ADOT by adopting the safety targets. For PAC, there is no reason to establish separate statewide safety targets, and PAC sets performance targets for our reason to track performances in a long-range plan and a tip. And I request that we adopt ADOT's 2025 statewide safety projections to ensure ADOT successfully delivers their program to the federal highway. And I hope we can get a motion to get these adopted. And thank you. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer.
Perfect, you and me. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you doing that. Any questions for you and me?
Blake Wilson here. Can I see the first slide again, if possible? Oh, I'm sorry. Can I see the slide? I think it was the first one. It had a table on it.
Say when, Blake. Or was it the one right before this one? For the
Yeah,
graphs? That one?
Yeah. I just want to look at that real quick. All right. Thank you.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions for you and me? Seeing none, hearing none. As she mentioned, this is an action item, and what we're simply doing, since we're a technical advisory committee, we make recommendations to the committees up above us. So we're not approving, we're not endorsing. That falls at the regional level. It's been a constant practice that this committee has weighed in with the recommendation to adopt. So I can entertain a motion from one of the committee, jurisdictional committee members, as so desired.
Blake Wilson, City of Tucson Traffic Engineering. I move that we adopt ADOT's 2025 statewide safety projections.
I got a motion from Blake. Can I get a second?
Cheryl Hewley, I second.
Cheryl with the second. Okay, all in favor of adopting the 2025 projections as presented by you and me, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Perfect, passes unanimously. Gang, thank you so very much. And you and me, outstanding presentation, and thanks for helping out with us.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on now. Safety activity updates. Gabe, the floor is yours, my friend. What you got? What you know?
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, everybody. I'll jump in with the RSA activity reports. We just last week completed a design stage road safety assessment on Valencia Road for Pima County between Mission Road and Camino de la Tierra. Great We had a great team assembled, great participation from the design engineering team and from the county. So we are in the process of compiling that report, and we've given our recommendations, and we'll be making our official recommendations in the report in about a month from now. In the process of trying to schedule an RSA on an existing infrastructure with the city of Tucson for Fort Lowell between Oracle and First Avenue, hoping that we can get that done before Christmas, mid-December sometime. Just kind of looking at schedules with everybody right now. And lastly, we revisited a mini RSA that we did with the town of Sahuarita, with Sergio and Paul down there on an RFB to Hawk conversion. So we have gone back there. It has been completed. So it's been really fun working with those guys. And yeah, so we've got some additional comments that we've made available. Any questions on the RSA? Go ahead.
Overall, that and it wasn't a reeval, the follow-up on Town of Sahuarita's, no red flags, everything's doing what it's intended to from the original findings.
Oh, it might definitely no red flags. Even it's coming out with shining colors. I think it was really smart of them to upgrade to a Hawk, and they're already seeing they've got up. I mean, if they want to talk to it, they can talk to it, but they have before and after video coverage, and they saw a lot of close calls with the RFBs with school children in the crosswalk, and with the Hawk. I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody in this group, but those close calls were all but eliminated. So.
Congratulations, Sergio team. That's good to hear. So
yeah,
that's the upgrades
absolutely.
we're looking for. So fantastic.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions on RSA activities, RSAs that we performed, not just that I talked about, but anything we've done this year? I will be talking a little bit more about going forward and the funding that we've received in my next update, which is HSIP, starting with the city of Tucson. I have some good news. I've got good news here, mostly good news. Let's start with good news. City of Tucson has been notified by ADOT that they've been awarded 13.8 million, or have been made eligible to be awarded 13.8 million for 2 Hawk packages and a retro backplate package. Pima County has been notified of the intent to award 2.8 million for a Hawk and a shared use path project. And the PAG side, we asked for a sizable amount for 750,000 for our RSA program for program activities over the next 5 years. We were given an advanced amount of 150,000 for our RSA program. We're waiting for more info on the remaining funding. We're also waiting word on 250,000 that we applied for safety activity funds by PAG. We're also awaiting more word back from ADOT on the town of Sahuarita's speed feedback sign application. We did get some feedback from them saying that they weren't sure kind of fit into their application sort of nomenclature, I guess I'll say. We had a little bit of a back and forth with them and worked it out, and I think we have that. So they're still considering that. We do have a meeting about project delivery schedule and what the timelines are for ADOT and what they need to do for their statewide processes and for their federal process, and for what the city and county and really all of our jurisdictions, what our realistic timelines are. So again, we have a meeting set with the city and ADOT next week. Happy to share what we learn from that at that time. But basically, we're trying to work out a schedule so we can get award of funds and we can design and build these on a realistic timeline that also satisfies what ADOT needs to do. So that's an ongoing conversation. It's been an issue for quite a while. We're going to try as best we can to get down to the bottom of that. Anything you want to add to that, Rick?
No, I think that's good. It's one of those things that obviously everybody that wins the money, yeah, okay, congratulations. Now you got it. Now you got to deliver on it. So what we've really been trying to focus on, look at, is make sure if there's best practices, if there's things that some jurisdictions are doing, we get the benefit of seeing everybody's kind of cards that they play down. So we've been really trying to look and say this technique's had good success, or we think these recommendations may apply and be beneficial. So we're really glad the jurisdictional members are willing to jump in on that, as well as ADOT, to kind of say, okay, let's make sure that these safety funds, because all the strings mean a wild dance, and let's make sure we're on top of all this stuff to an even higher level that we have. So, Gabe, really appreciate you leading this effort and being on the forefront of all this to make sure that not only winning is the goal, but delivery remains still our focus. So, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Any questions for Gabe on any of those two big efforts and activities we have underway with RSAs as well as HSIPs? So one thing, Gabe, I want to clarify that I understand it. The amount we got awarded for our HSIP for the RSAs takes us through next summer, correct? Fully funds us through fiscal year 25?
PAG RSA program. Yeah, that should fully fund us through 2020.
Okay.
Gabe, I have a question. This is Dion.
Sure.
I seem to remember that ADOT really made it hard to qualify for Hawk funds, but I heard in your report that several Hawks are being funded, and I'm just curious whether they've come around a little bit as far as that goes, or whether the jurisdictions who were awarded Hawks went through all the hoops that ADOT required.
Yeah, I know. I would think that, I don't want to speak for ADOT, but I would think that they would say they're not trying to make it hard for folks to win Hawks. They're just trying to come up with an even playing field and a structure by which they can judge applications evenly across the state. That being said, it is quite difficult to qualify, especially the main hoop that needs to be jumped through, of course, is that there needs to be some fatal or incapacitating pedestrian related crossing crash at the location you're applying to build a Hawk at. So, there have been some years that some of our smaller member jurisdictions, I guess I will say, have been lucky enough to not be able to apply for certain types of HSIP funding because they have, they have they don't have the type of fatal and incapacitating crashes that ADOT's looking for. In the case of Hawk specifically, they've also added the requirement of a Hawk warrant, which is, I think, a little bit higher bar than we'd like to see down in our region. It's a different way of looking at it. Maybe that's what you're getting at, Dion. But they do still have that requirement. We still do have to go do counts. We still have to meet the 20 pedestrian crossing peak hour minimum. We've got to meet that crosswalk warrant. But for a lot of these locations, it's really not that hard to do. I know when you're talking about things like latent demand and what might be out there for people who would be crossing if the Hawk were there, it's so much harder to get at, and I don't really have a good answer for that.
Thanks, Gabe.
No, good question, Dion. Thanks. Any others? Gabe, great update. Much appreciated. And as always, thanks for trying to stay on top of the RSAs, keep those rolling. As a reminder to the group, call if you've got anything, simple request, and Gabe can work with you to get it scheduled. As you're seeing, we're still keeping an aggressive pace to stay on top of these. So we don't bundle, we don't batch, and we don't backlog. This is still as a kind of as needed, as responded, as scheduled capabilities, and is a priority. So thank you guys all very much for that.
Thanks, Rick. And even if you just have questions about a location, if you're thinking about an RSA and you're not sure it'd be a good candidate, feel free to reach out to either myself or Rick, and we're happy to talk with you. And we can get something worked out. So thanks all.
ADOT has continued to see the value and efforts in us leading that and kind of having the robust program we do, and that's why we've got the funding allocations we did. So there is continued support just because of how well we've worked with our regional partners on this to make sure it's doing what it needs to do. So thank you guys all very much. Okay, with that, now it's the jurisdiction's turns. Anybody got anything they want to share regarding to the safety components they're working on? Any special activities, efforts underway that you want to share for the good of the group? Floor is open.
Blake Wilson here. This is just kind of a small win, but we'll take them. If I'm sure Dion and I'm sure Gabe remembers Mountain and Helen, we get a call at least 2 or 3 times a year about that intersection. I think there was an RSA that was done before my time at the city, but we were able to finally meet with the community and U of A, and do a little work there. We restrict, I don't know if Hal's here, but Hal and Patrick worked on that, and they restricted right turns. We kept it through for a cat trans, and everyone seems really pleased with that. So if you have a chance to swing by there, there's some green markings and some flex posts, and we'll see how it works.
Seems to be working initially with good feedback. You're right, Blake. Nice to have a win. Okay. Any others?
Rick, I guess I could add that the town of Marana, we were awarded an HZIP project about 5 years ago. So that is a traffic signal at the intersection of Moore Road and Dove Mountain Boulevard. And that project was awarded and construction is scheduled to begin in January.
Who'd you get the award to?
Well, it's being administered through ADOT.
Yep.
And the name of the contractor is William Charles Electric. There's a super long lead time on some poles and mast arms, so hopefully they'll be able to complete the work in the 190-day working day period.
Okay, perfect. No, I remember that coming up a couple times during tip discussions. So congratulations on getting that one across the goal line. I don't remember all the nuances on it. Talked with Fausto a couple of years at least back about that. So big props on getting that one and sticking with it. So congratulations.
Thank you.
God, we got a couple wins on the meeting today. Okay. All right. Hearing no others, move on and do our usual updates on the two communications related items. First one is number 6. We'll hit the automated transportation management, our MaxView Kinetics updates. Blake, I know Blake, or I know Francisco typically gives this. Did he share anything with you? I don't see him on, so I know you usually lead this, and then they let the others jump in if you've got anything. If not, we can open it up to the group.
Yeah, just for the benefit of the group. So traffic engineering, I'm the administrator over that. And there's a new division, or it's not new, but smart mobility led by Blake Richards, and Francisco's under him. So I'm, we still retain operations, but they're kind of running all the gadgets and stuff. So I don't really have anything. I know that we met with Bob. I'll just share this. We met with Bob Hunt by coincidence this week, and there's some concerns about kinetics. We still have a contract, as I understand, through 2025. So I guess what I'm saying is that as I guess Tucson's kind of the holder or leader of kinetics, so they might be reaching out to you to get some feedback on that. I guess what they're thinking is maybe another system. And I don't know. I know that Marina mentioned, I don't know if she's here today, but she's still using MaxView on a daily basis. So that's all I know.
Perfect. No, I appreciate that. That serves as a nice heads up. So guys, keep eyes and ears open. If anybody from Francisco's shop is going to reach out or follow up on that particular effort on that. So much appreciated, Blake.
Yeah, so the town of Marana was moving forward with getting on board with the kinetic system, but it sounds like that is not a sure thing that it'll continue to exist. Maybe we need to find out more information about this.
Yeah, this is a big one, Dion. Sorry for the shocker. I just found this out. I'm not involved in this in any way. I'm just kind of the messenger here, and I wanted, since we have the group here, I think it was important to share that. I can't remember the name of the system that Bob is interested in, but there is going to be a presentation. So I'll be sure to try and remember to invite this group.
I was gonna say, reach out as you got jurisdiction. You feel free to contact Francisco directly on that if you want more information
Sure.
on that. I
Yeah.
was gonna say that
Yeah.
I want to emphasize. So Dion, glad to hear you kind of are on it. And if anybody else, Francisco's been kind of running with this over the last several years, so definitely jingle him up if you need to.
Blake, there's a product called Kits and there's a product called Centrax.
Yeah, it's Centrac that Bob is advocating for.
I kind of liked Centrax too when I was doing some research.
Yeah, his shouldn't speak for him, but his point was that we use Econolite controllers and it's from Econolite.
Right. Yeah.
So the compatibility is unquestionable and the support would be theoretically adequate.
One-stop shopping type of thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, appreciate that.
Blake, this may be fair to ask you since you're not Francisco, but if the city were to have a Centrax system, would the city continue to kind of be the regional central traffic management system that other agencies would kind of like get into, or would it be a case where different smaller agencies like Marana would get their own?
Yeah, I know what you're asking, and I can't answer that. I would advocate for that, just because we probably have more. Well, I can't say we have more resources, but we're the big boy, so yeah, I would certainly advocate for that.
Okay, another unfair question. Sorry.
Yeah.
So has the city been unsatisfied with the technical support from Kinetics, from Q-Free, the makers of Kinetics?
Again, what Bob told me is he said he can't print out timing charts from MaxView, from Kinetics. I can't remember all the things. There was 3 or 4 things that are basic functionality that it's not working.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
No, good questions, Dion. I appreciate the extra depth on that. Thanks, Blake. Yeah, like Dion said, kind of putting you on the spot on that. I can't imagine Francisco's going to be allowed to miss meetings going forward now.
All right.
But no, really appreciate the heads up on all that stuff. So if anybody's got any specifics or wants to follow up, please reach out to Francisco on that. So anybody else questions for Blake to put him on the spot, or anybody else have anything they want to share on this particular topic? Seeing
Hey, Rick,
none.
before we move on.
Oh, Gabe, sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I just got an email from Paul Casertano. I've been participating with the SS4A safety plan effort, but I was going to let the Pima County jump in, but they're not here, and Paul just said they're not going to be. So, if I could just jump in and do some jurisdictional safety update on behalf of the county for SS4A, just a couple bullet points here from Paul. Kickoff meetings were held with the Pima County Health Department on 9/20 and the project steering committee on 9/30. Safety tool selection is underway. An analysis of available safety analysis tools was conducted with tool demonstrations provided to the steering committee to assist with decision making. Feedback is being gathered from the steering committee. Metrics to establish the high injury network and equity analysis are being discussed and reviewed. And finally, data, relevant plans, and studies are being identified and compiled. I return you to your normal scheduled broadcasting.
What you've seen is live, not Memorex. Okay. Fantastic. And thank you for that extra bit of information. Okay, swirling back now to our final item. Any signal communications, activities, updates from any of the member jurisdictions? Any of the committee members wish to share anything they got going on? Recognizing that Blake's kind of short update on the before thing may have already kind of helped with that, but anything else anybody wants to add? Okay, not seeing, not hearing, not seeing any hands up. I don't want to miss anybody. Um, share. Okay. Folks, that's all we've got. Like I said, it's our normal kind of simple, easy update, with the exception of you and me's great presentation for our annual update on that effort. One thing is just a reminder, the every other month cycle seems to be working fairly well. From what Gabe and I observed, kind of how we watch it, the interaction, it gives enough time in there for real good updates to materialize or actions to take place. So our next one would be then the whatever this Thursday is in January. So go ahead and keep that blocked out, and we'll plan on that unless always anything else special comes up or new opportunities. So with that, I'll do one last check on any of the topics we covered. Any last questions, comments? Seeing none, hearing none. Bree or Isa, anything else you want to add from the team side?
None.
Good. And Gabe, any closing thoughts you want to pass along as well?
None for me.
You good?
Be
All
safe
righty.
out there.
Yep. Gang, as always, much appreciate the work you guys do. Thank you for everything. We'll adjourn it at 10:40 and have a fantastic one. We'll look forward to talking with you soon. See you in January. Enjoy the good start to the holiday stuff and be safe. See you, gang. Be well.
Thanks, Rick.
Bye, everybody.